Hey, good morning, friends. We are going to continue our story, Woof, and we are up to chapter 3. So here we go. We ran back to the Go family fish and bait. Bowser, we forgot to look both ways, and got there just as the sheriff came out, headed for his cruiser. Sheriff, Bertie said, hurrying towards him, me right beside her, in fact, a little bit ahead, the rope having somehow slipped from her hand or possibly been yanked from it. But don't look at me. See what Bowser found? The sheriff paused, the car door half open. Bertie held up a cigar stub. Nice job, the sheriff said. We'll put him on litter patrol. He got in the car. Litter patrol, Bertie said. Just joking, said the sheriff, sliding down the window and starting the car. There's no money in the budget for the new spotlight. Never mind litter patrol. But this isn't about litter, Bertie said. Don't you see? Bowser followed the smell. What smell? The cigar smell from inside the shop. Oh, that, said Sheriff. A voice crackled on radio and said something I missed completely. The sheriff checked his watch. And it led down to the dock, Bertie said, talking faster, meaning the thief had a boat waiting. He loaded Blackjack inside and took off. The sheriff smiled. You after my job? I don't understand, Bertie said. That made two of us. Kids weren't sheriffs. That was a plain fact. The sheriff nodded at me and with his big chin. Rory's got a dog at home. You should take Bowser over to meet her. But what about your patrol boat? Bertie said. Patrol boat? The Zodiac with the 250 Merc. The thief might still be out there on the water. You can catch him if you hurry. You know boats, huh? Said the sheriff. Guess I shouldn't be surprised. What are you gonna do? Everything I can to get your grandma's fish back. I promise, said the sheriff, within reason. She filed a report. Petty theft valued under $500, although there's no putting a dollar amount on objects of sentimental value, as she's been pointing out to me. So it'll be in the system by the end of the day, and after that, we'll keep our eyes peeled. Eyes peeled, Bertie said, like she hated the idea. I was with her on that. It sounded horrible. What about the Zodiac? The Zodiac's in the shop, and it will be there for the foreseeable future, the sheriff said. And we can't go running after every smell that may or may not be in the air. That's not how it works. The window started sliding up, but at that point, Grammy stepped outside, and the window slid back down. Ms. Go, the sheriff called. What? Grammy said. Did the sheriff expect her to come to him? She showed no sign of moving that way. The sheriff sighed, got out of the car, and went to her. One more thing, he said. Was anything else taken? No. He peered down at her. Nothing is missing? She peered up at him. Blackjack is missing. I meant besides that, the sheriff said. Nothing else? Like what? Grammy said. There was a long pause. You tell me, said the sheriff at last. Grammy's voice rose. Isn't blackjack enough? Probably so, said the sheriff. He got back in the cruiser, turned on the road, and drove off. A breeze blew a wisp of gray hair across Grammy's face, the hot kind of summer breeze we get in this part. Not refreshing at all. She brushed the wisp of hair away and all of a sudden looked older. What's in your hand? She said. A cigar butt, Grammy. Bertie's face got a little pinker and she started talking fast again. Bowser followed the smell clear over the dock. The thief must have tossed it away and boarded on a boat and... Oh, stop, Grammy said. This isn't some game. I'll never see blackjack again. Sure you will, Grammy. It'll be in the system by the end of the day and... System? Know what I think of their systems? What, Grammy? Can't say it in front of a youngster. Go on into the house and get that stupid animal a proper leash on the way. Stupid animal, Bertie said. I was with her on that. There were no stupid animals in sight. Go on, Grammy said. She went back inside and slammed the door. Bertie's eyes got damp. Oh no, was she going to cry? I didn't want to see that. Her eyes filled up, and just when I thought tears would come spilling out, she gave her head a hard little shake like she was angry at something, and her eyes dried up. Come on, Bowser, she said, her voice low and sort of thick, as if something was in her throat. First I had a shake of my own, since the idea was fresh in my mind. There's nothing as invigorating as a real good shake, the kind that starts at your nose and goes all the way to your tail and then comes roaring back. I guarantee your ears will flop around like crazy if you have the right kind of ears, which I'm happy to say I do. This is St. Rock, Bertie said as we walked away from Go Family Fish and Bait and headed into town. Did you know he was the patron saint of dogs? I did not. In fact, I had no clue what Bertie was saying, but it was nice walking along beside her, even with the rope thing going on. Some humans just sort of mope along, no fun to walk with at all, but not Bertie. We like the same pace, nice and zippy. Here's Marky's Market, where we buy our groceries, except for fish, of course, and also bread, which Grammy bakes herself. This is the town hall where the tourists get their fishing license. That's my school. Closed for the summer, thank heaven. And there's Claymore's General Store, owned by my friend Nola's mom. Claymore's General Store was like a much bigger version of Go Family Fish and Bait, kind of run down with a big porch in front, except for the smells. Not nearly as powerful or interesting. But wait, bacon bits? The merest whiff, but no doubt about it, and coming through the open doorway on a wave of cool, air-conditioned air. We went right inside. What a day I was having. Everything was going my way at last. Starting with Bertie and ending with, who knew? Who cared? The kid was off the charts. A short, round woman was up front, hanging blue jeans on a rack, her upper lip glistening with sweat. Hi, Mrs. Claymore, Bertie said. Hey, Bertie, said Mrs. Claymore, turning to us. What you got there? My birthday present. His name's Bowser. Mrs. Claymore gave me a narrow-eyed look. Gonna eat, she began, then started over. Gonna be sizable when he fills out. She raised her voice. Nola, come see what the cat dragged in. Whoa, I had a quick look around, spotted no cats, which I already knew from the complete absence of cat scent in this place, but maybe the best thing about it. I've had adventures with cats in the past. None good. They have a way of yawning right in my face and really get me going. And when I get going, I can change like you wouldn't believe. I'd scare the pants off anyone, although it's my opinion that humans look better with their pants on. But back to cats. They're amazingly quick with their front paws. Zip, zip, and before you know it, it's your nose bleeding. And the nasty dude with the fast paws is gazing down at you from the top of a piano or high up in a tree. Here's one you can count on. No cat will ever drag what was my name again? Bowser. Yeah. Hey, I liked it. Ol' Bowser. Anywhere, at any time, no how. Did you get an allowance? Bet it all on me going places under my own power, dragged by nobody, especially of the cattish type. A girl came hurrying from the back of the store. She was maybe a little taller than Bertie, also somewhat darker skinned, as was Mrs. Claymore, come to think of it. But why bother? Me and my kind rock way more colors than you and your kind, and we don't think anything about it. What matters is the smell. This particular girl smelled good. Basic human girl, plus a nice mix of honey and lemon. Hi, Nola, Bertie said. Meet Bowser. Nola took one look at me and said, oh, he's so cute. Cute, said Mrs. Claymore. Looks more like a rough customer to me. Come on, Mom, Nola said. Check out his eyes. Gentle, right? Said Bertie. Exactly, Nola said. Can I pat him? Don't see why not. Neither did I. Pat away. Nola reached out, started patting. There'd been no patting in, so long, until today. And what a talented pattern Nola was turning out to be. Plus, a not too shabby scratcher between the ears, an often itchy spot I can't get to no matter how hard I try. Meanwhile, a conversation started up all about blackjack and Granny and Snoozy and the sheriffs and cigars and, hey, this was interesting. What a good detective I was. Soon after, I was trying on collars, and then we were out of there, me sporting a brand new leather collar that smelled vaguely of cattle, but would soon be all mine, smelling-wise. Bertie was on the other end of a new leash, both the collar and the new leash bright orange, so someone, I didn't quite catch who, could never get lost. As for the bacon bits, they never appeared. There are disappointments in life. The trick is to forget them fast. I'm maybe the world's champ at that. We walked through St. Roch, if St. Roch was the name of the town. Don't rely on me for details like that. It was a nice town, not big, not fancy, but watery for sure, with canals, bayous, ponds glittering from time to time between the trees and the houses. Here's our street, Bertie said, and we turned onto a narrow road full of potholes and just about down to bare dirt by the time we reached the end. Gentilly Lane, and we're the last house, number 19. I liked the house from the get-go. It was low and white with shutters, the color of the sky, and a big shady tree in front. The only problem was that one of my kind had laid a mark on that tree. There were going to be some changes around here, big time. I set off for that tree, pronto. Bowser, you're pulling me, and laid my mark on top of his in no uncertain terms. I was now officially in charge of security at 19 Gentilly Lane. The news would get around fast, which was how these things work in my world. Wow, said Bertie, you've really been holding on. She looked at me. I looked at her. What are you thinking behind those nice eyes of yours? Absolutely nothing. My mind was pleasantly empty at the moment. We moved towards a spot of open part of the house that was split into two. This is the breezeway, Bowser. This side of the house is Grammy's. This side of the house is mine and Mama's. She took a key from a zipper pocket of her shorts and opened a door on one side of the breezeway. We went into the kitchen. I'll bet you're thirsty. Bertie unclipped the leash and hung it on a wall hook, then got a bowl from the cupboard and started filling it at the sink. While all that was going on, I followed an interesting smell over to a trash barrel by the door. It had an odd kind of swinging plastic top that really didn't keep you from sticking your head in the barrel if you suddenly wanted to do that very badly, which I did. The next moment, I'd snagged practically a whole burger, tossed away for no reason I could think of since it was still perfectly good. I made quick work of it, and it was just standing by the trash barrel doing nothing in particular when Bertie came over with the water bowl. You weren't poking around in the trash by any chance, she said, setting the bowl at my feet. Nope, not me. I sat nice and still, my behavior as good as anyone would want, or better. Must have gotten that mustard on your nose someplace else, she said, wiping my snout with her hand. She laughed. Laughter's the best sound humans make, in my opinion, and Bertie's was off the charts. I had to have done something to make her happy, and when I figured out what it was, I planned to do it over and over and over again. Drink, she said. I drank. In fact, I lapped up the whole bowl. Thirsty, huh? The truth was, I hadn't cared for the water at Adrian's. Hard to say why. Bertie refilled the bowl. Even though I wasn't really thirsty anymore, I took a sip or two, just being polite. Come on, I'll show you around your new home. I knew that was a good idea from the way my tail started up. It helps to have a tail to tell you when a good idea comes along. Not sure how you'd manage without one. We left the kitchen, went down a hall. Bertie opened the first door. Mama's room. I glanced inside, nice and tidy with a made-up bed, a hard hat hanging on a hook, and framed photos on the wall. Bertie went over to the one that showed herself with a smiling woman who wore her hair in a ponytail. That's Mama, Bertie said, touching the image of the woman. She's an engineer on an oil ring off Angola, but she'll be back next month. She pointed to another photo where the ponytail woman was standing beside a big man in a uniform. And that's my daddy. Bertie turned to me. Her voice got very quiet. All I have is one memory of him, Bowser. I moved in a little closer, sat on her foot. It was all I could think of to do. How come we have this big blank where our earliest memories should be? Bertie said. I had no idea. As for big blanks, I live with plenty of them, no problem. Want to hear my one measly memory? Bertie said. I sure did. In fact, I wanted to hear anything that came out of her mouth. It's not a memory of his face, Bertie said, just his hands. I had these little blue shoes with silver stars on them. One of the laces had come undone. He bent down and tied it, a perfect bow. I can still see it, and how beautiful his hands were, big and strong. And then he said, "No loose ends, Bertie." And that is the end of chapter 3. Thank you for listening.